In my previous video, I mentioned in passing that one of the new features implemented in MLB 14 was a game mode called Extra Innings. It's a game mode that's still available today, and in short, Extra Innings is a special kind of exhibition mode. It allows you to search the gamertag of anyone in the world and play a game versus the CPU against that player's current Diamond Dynasty squad. It's meant for practicing and perhaps learning the tendencies of some of your opponents, but not many users play the mode anymore. I'm here to tell you that there is a very good reason for that. Welcome back to episode 3 of A History of the Show. I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback on the series so far, which I wanted to take a brief moment and thank you all for. During the process of producing this episode, I had the absolute privilege of conducting an interview for the first time in the series. They are known only as XX NoScope XX094, or NoScope for short. That name may only ring a bell for a few people watching, but there's a good chance you might have heard of their creation, the Yukon Yetis. Who were the Yetis? Well, they were a Diamond Dynasty team that was designed to be bad. Like, really bad. Why would anybody ever intentionally make their team bad, you may ask? I suppose there's some MLB The Show players out there who intentionally try and win with lower skilled player cards. But the Yetis? They were designed to try and help you win. Since my interview with NoScope was over text, there are going to be portions of this video where I read for both sides, just so you guys are aware. So, did you have any inspiration for the Yukon Yetis team name and branding?
Everything about the Yetis is kind of an intentional joke. The original team had boring white and gray uniforms and no logo. I was looking for somewhere interesting for the team to be from, and Yukon was one of the places that the announcer could say. It was also funny that there would be a baseball team from there. Yetis I chose because it made sense. Yukon is cold, and Yetis would live where it's cold, and I like the alliteration. I eventually gave them a blue and white color scheme because blue represents cold or cool.
So everyone knows that one of the best things about MLB The Show is the fact that you can gain XP through a variety of methods. There's Conquest, Battle Royale, Ranked Seasons, Daily Moments, Play vs CPU. In most cases, users have the option of playing the game mode that suits their playstyle the most. Sure, there will be methods found by the community to find the most efficient way of attaining XP possible, or the fastest way to get a card to Parallel 5, but there will never be another method as cheesy as the one NoScope found. In MLB 16, Extra Innings was a game mode that was underutilized by most of the community. As mentioned earlier, you could play a friend's Diamond Dynasty team, but chances were their squad would be pretty well stacked with gold to diamond players. If you wanted to complete stat missions, most players went with the method to play versus the Orioles on rookie mode. The PCI was bigger and there was a larger chance of getting extra base hits or striking out more players with your pitchers. One of the only reasons somebody might play Extra Innings against another user was to play at a stadium that they might not currently own, such as the Home Run Happy Polo Grounds. Also, back in MLB 16, there was a card drop after every completed game. The harder the difficulty you won on, the higher chance you got of a card that was a rare value. Regarding the inspiration for the team, was there any one reason that made you want to make the Yetis?
I noticed that in Extra Innings mode, where you could play other people's Diamond Dynasty teams, if you played a team on the second highest difficulty, Hall of Fame, you got something like a 30% chance at a common and a 1% chance at a gold. The chance at a diamond was 0.1%. This was before the ratings got kind of inflated, so golds were actually worth something. If you played a team on Legend difficulty, you got a 0% chance at commons, 40% chance at bronze, 40% chance at silver, 11.8% chance at gold, and a 0.3% chance at diamond. I thought, but what if the team you were playing was really bad? So I made a team that was really bad.
On May 16th, 2016, NoScope gave users an option to grind XP and stats, use Polo Grounds, get a good post-game card drop, and play a team that was objectively worse than any MLB team. Their plan was simple: build their Diamond Dynasty team such where it had the lowest rated players possible, and all of them were out of their normal positions for additional defensive penalties. NoScope's team was a paltry 53 overall and consisted of mainly catchers. The entire bench was comprised of first basemen so that the CPU AI wouldn't be able to make substitutions for better fielders. The fielders would continually make errors in the field, stealing bases was incredibly easy, and the pitchers were also optimized with low velocity, little break, and a spread of pitches that offered little variety. Was there any criteria for finding Yetis players?
I had a spreadsheet with all the info on it and got the stats from DaddyLeagues, which was the website that had all the stats for the players at the time. I tried to get players with as bad contact and power as possible because Legend difficulty, plus the game's rubber band mechanics, really juiced players up. The The reason it's catchers and first basemen is because catchers have the worst stats, and you have to have a position player somewhere. The default created character, Joe Random, had the worst overall in the game by default, and he could play any position. In my mind, first base had the least involvement in fielding, so it wouldn't hurt my bad team to have a player in position there, and it would be Joe Random the worst first baseman possible.
Reddit users leaped at the opportunity to rack up some crooked numbers and a chance to obtain rarer cards. If you are decent to poor at this game but want to grind out some innings while getting good rewards, I made an optimized Diamond Dynasty team for you to play and hopefully win against at the higher levels, NoScope wrote on Reddit. Thanks so much for doing this. This is genius, said user CHW2006. You can pretty much steal with anyone even if they pitch out. Stole with my pitcher for fun, and he actually got 2 stolen bases. I got an inside the park home run with my pitcher against your team on Legend, said user ScuffyMcGee. Notably, Francisco Pena was set at center field for the Yetis, but it was found that he had 0 blocking at his normal position of catcher. San Diego Studios later updated Pena's attributes all the way up to 72. Sandy Leone was also one of the worst rated players on the Yetis, but played so well for the Red Sox in 2016, including a .310 batting average, that his attributes were bumped up enough to be too good for the roster. His overall over the course of the season went from a 58 to a 78. Other favorites included Sugar Jesus, Jesus Sucre, Adam Moore, and Jesus Aguilar. Did you expect the response that occurred on Reddit?
No, I didn't expect the response. I thought I was going to get like 7 responses saying cool or something like that. If you look at my first post, it was an instant hit, and I think I responded to almost every post. I always used to respond to Yetis threads and still respond to the occasional DM. Apart from the original thread getting so many responses and getting requests to make the team less terrible looking, since I originally just had default uniform colors and no logo, and change a few of the players around, I remember a bunch of other bad teams being created and the mods making an official thread to stop people spamming the subreddit about Yetis.
Eventually, San Diego Studios took notice of the Yetis and nerfed the XP from playing extra innings into the ground.
You can't just play with a friend to get all your missions done this year. We're going to have a lot of different ways to do it, online, single player, etc.
There are a lot of people scared out there. Yetis. Yetis.
Yetis. There was some controversy on whether or not the user you played against got any unfair bonuses, but that was not the case. Did you get any sort of in-game bonus?
I didn't get any stubs or XP or anything when people played the Yetis, and people played them more than like 100,000 times. In fact, it actually cost me real-life money. I bought some stubs because later I found out that by playing another team and selecting away, you could choose from any stadium they owned. I decided, in my mind as a gift to the community, to buy all the stadiums, even the premium ones like Polo Grounds, so that people could see what playing in them was like before deciding to buy for themselves. Polo Grounds was about 20,000 stubs, and I thought it would be nice for people to try it out with their Diamond Dynasty team before they bought it. I also needed a small reserve of stubs to make sure I had a good stable of bad players to choose from when creating the Yetis.
So not only did NoScope not receive any exploits from the extra inning games, but he took it upon himself to buy extra stadiums for other users to enjoy their games against his Yeti squad. NoScope last posted their Yetis team in 2019 after taking the year off in 2018. By then, there wasn't as much reason to grind in extra innings mode anymore. Stats didn't count for missions, and it also didn't count towards the newly implemented Team Affinity. However, San Diego Studios had one more trick up their sleeve. In September 2019, the Yetis came back for one more appearance. In Moments Extreme, it was up to the user to defeat the Cooperstown Legends signature series team in a 3-inning game by only being able to control a roster of common players at Polo Grounds.
Yetis versus Goliath.
Yetis.
So, yeah.
Real Yetis or some other Yetis?
Another version of the Yetis.
Another version of the Yetis.
Was there a certain moment that came with the Yetis' notoriety that you remember the most?
In 2019, I got a bunch of messages that said, "They put your team in the game, bro." I saw this at work and I laughed my ass off. Then I checked in when I got home to make sure it was really real. I've always been sad that SDS nerfed the Yetis by putting except in extra innings games in all of their challenges now, but I'm happy that the Yetis can still live on and benefit people by allowing them to get more rewards, even if you have to play as them instead of against them.
Another question that gets tossed around a lot is the fact that Diamond Dynasty is the game's most popular mode, and therefore would be insane for somebody to devote their entire team to a charade for the year. Ultimately, why did NoScope decide to forego playing Diamond Dynasty and leave his team to the Wolves? Did you decide to stop playing Diamond Dynasty for any reason which led you to the Yetis, or were you just trying to help out other players?
I don't play Diamond Dynasty and I never have. I've been playing Road to the Show since it was on PlayStation 2. The story is that I made the Yetis and then played 3 games per season, and then quit out so my whip was very high, and that people could search for my team easily. They didn't have a dedicated search where you could just find someone, so you had to reverse sort by whip. About Diamond Dynasty, I'm a fan of baseball past and present, but I'm older and busier and I don't have time like I used to, which means I don't have as much time to grind, I don't have as much time to practice getting good, and I don't have as much time to play online. I also don't like the whole loot box and real money type thing with games in general. That has just gotten worse and worse as time has passed. The whole pay to win thing is a real turnoff for me. You either grind a lot or spend money, and I'd rather not do either, and I'm not too good because I don't practice. Diamond Dynasty is just not for me.
With the Yeti's relevancy faded over the years, NoScope tended to become less active with his Yetis teams on the subreddit. I asked him if he still happens to keep up to speed with the newer editions of the game. Do you still play MLB The Show or browse the subreddit today? If so, what modes do you typically spend time on?
I browse the subreddit sometimes. I play my 2019 Road to the Show very rarely. I think I didn't buy 21 because it got really bad press about Road to the Show being gutted, and I already wasn't a big fan about equipment being necessary, in my mind, to maximize my Road to the Show guy, and I also hear that they integrated Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty.
Thus concludes the legend of NoScope and his Yukon Yetis, at least for now. At their peak, the Yetis were the most popular team in Diamond Dynasty history, and single-handedly changed some of the methods we use to grind XP today. While they might not be responsible for some of the freezes we encounter, their impact on the history of the show will be forever known. Once again, a huge thank you to NoScope for sharing his story with the Yetis. If you know of any other stories that are worthy of an interview in a future episode, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and signing off for now, this is Kasabe.